Okay, welcome back to the channel. Today we want to talk a little bit about sandpaper. We have quite a few different types of sandpaper here, and just a little bit of a little tip on it at the end. I'm going to show you guys something for the beginners, the people just started out maybe doing crafts and just have something really small. You maybe have a few tools that you like to learn a little bit more about doing woodworking. Most of you guys do know everything about the sandpaper. I understand that, so I really appreciate if you guys, tag along here. Okay, first of all, we're going to start with a 5-inch sandpaper, and we have a 5-inch sandpaper is right here. It's a disc, and there's quite a few different sizes. It goes from like maybe a 320 all the way up to like a 60 grit. And we picked up some the other day. We picked up some from Amazon. Of course, you got to watch it a little bit from the ones they sell on Amazon. Some of them's good, some's not. I bought the 320. I don't really care for the 320 as much, but it seems to do its job. I mean, I'm not going to mock down the company. I think they do what they got to do, and like I said, a lot of times, in order for a company to know, they have to hear reports from the consumer, and then once you put in your complaint or whatever you're concerned about, it's not working right, then they go out and improve it. So we got a 5-inch here, and it's for one sander. We have a 5-inch sander, and then we have a 6-inch sander here. We have another sander, but it's a little bit bigger disc. You can see it between the 5 and the 6. There's two different sizes like this, and this is an 80 grit. We have a few other ones too. I think there's a 120 in there, 220 in there, 100. Okay. So, okay, let's go ahead and just over here so I don't get this all mixed up. Right, put right, well, yeah, just right there, good. Okay, now let's go to the belt. We got a belt sander here because it's on this side. These are belt sanders come in all different sizes. Depends on how big your belt sander you have. We use ours once in a while. We haven't been using it too much. I do like to get another sander that has a big long belt. You know what I mean? The table thing. I like to get one of those like this. It will be in the future. Sanding is very important. And then we have over here is a drum. Okay. And now they have different types of this. Goes to a sander I have over here. And I probably had a couple of videos, but it just got a big rubber disc in the middle of it. It really works really well. And then you buy the sandpaper just like this here. It comes in different sizes, I guess. Different grits too. So I think this is a 120. This is all 120. There's a couple, see, they go down really, really small. And I mean, the sandpaper is really nice to have that different types of sanders. Okay. So we got the drum out of the way. So we're going to go ahead and go with the 12-inch. Now, this is a 12-inch disc sandpaper. Right now it's got down to 40. I think I have an 80 in the it's a table, but it runs this big of a disc, I guess. And I do have some 9-inch paper like this, but it's for drywall sander. So I have a drywall sander that I use a 9-inch on. These are all sticky in the back of these, and these ones all have like a Velcro type stick material on the back of the 5-inch and the 4-inch. So, okay, there we go on that. So now we have some sheet. I call them sheet. I guess it's called sheet, sandpaper sheets. And it's a 9x11 sheets now. A lot of times when you walk in the store or something, first thing you think about, you just kind of rub over and say, well, that's the paper I need. That's not always the case. All these papers, sandpapers that we pick up, they all have a different use. So one has a use of wood use, and one might have a use for metal use, and it just goes on from there. So this in here is good. It says it's for bare wood use. It's 150 grit. It says fine. It's for soft and hard wood. Okay. So when you're buying your sandpaper, make sure you look, because you don't want to pick up something that's not going to work for you. We have another one here, and that's got a 100 grit. We also have one here that is for metal. It has a cloth type material on the back side of it instead of cardboard or paper. We have one here that it's like a variety pack, and it comes with a 60, 100, 150, and a 220. Sometimes that's really nice to have this. This in here is good for wood, metal, drywall, fiberglass, lacquer, varnish, and paint surfaces. This is a really good paper to have, if you're just kind of doing something. The reason for having the big ones for me now is to you can make a sanding block out of a piece of like a 2x4 or something, and then staple it on there, whatever, and you sand with it and just fold it over it. I cut this in squares, 4 squares, because I have a sander that it's still a small palm sander. It's square, and it's cheaper to buy these than it is to buy the paper for that sander. Okay, we have 3M here, and I think it's got a couple different types of sandpaper. It's got a 150 in it. It's got a 100 in it. It's got an 80 in it. It's got a 60 in it. This is a general purpose. This is pretty nice. You can pick these up too. We have here is they call it Pro Pack. I think it's just because it's got 25 sheets in it. But it's a multi-purpose too, so it's got a lot of different things you can use it for. Okay, so and then let's go back down to these. Uh, these have they're different uses. This one here, I think I have a drum, uh, something like this, but it goes onto the drill press and you just kind of bend it around like this, and then it kind of hooks into that drum, and then use it for sanding. Okay, so there's different grits for those. Uh, let's see. This is for auto body. I forget what that one's for. Same thing, auto body. I bought this in here because it was on sale. I like looking around, see when it's on sale, because you'll find them even at Walmart. I found sandpaper on sale. This is just for about anything. Last longing premium sandpaper. Removes layers of paint, coating, uh, rust or wood. Okay, and this is a drywall one. It's got a little bit of a different cut on it. You can see, and it's for a tool for pole. What's on a pole, so you can do your drywall. Okay, now let's see what else we have. Okay, we got this here, and this is for a DA sander. This has a like sticky on the back of it, so when you use your DA sanders I have are for automobile. Runs air, and the one I used to have, not the DA sander, but the way I used to put the paper on, you just had the paper sheets, and then you had spray glue, and you would spray the glue on them. I ended up with this. I picked it up somewhere, I think, pretty cheap, so we went ahead and bought that. And we have sanding blocks. Now you can use sanding blocks on small things. I wouldn't use it on anything like a flat surface if you're going to do any type of furniture or anything like that. It's not really good to use it for that. It's actually, I like using it for drywall. I always keep it on around because I'm always working on drywall somewhere, and just to kind of get the corners, you know what I mean, the little corners up in there, and then it really comes in handy. Just kind of go up there and work it a little bit. And then here we go with this, and this is steel wool. Now we used to use steel wool a lot when I was a kid growing up in wood shop. That's what we used, the steel wool, to do finishing, because this is very, very fine. You can still use it. Some people still use it. I still use it. But I like steel wool, and I keep it around for like polishing things. You know what I mean? I might have a tool down here that has a little bit of rust surface or something that's started on, and you can just take the steel wool, and it don't really damage too much of the metal or whatever you're using it on. So I keep it around. It's pretty handy. I have some real thin 400 grit paper. This is the water paper I use for like automobiles if I'm going to patch something or something like that. So that's really nice. Now the whole thing about different sizes, like if you're going to use uh, the 60, 100, 150, and 220 grit paper, is that when you have something like this piece of wood here, for you guys, you beginners out there, and you're sanding this, it's going to take a long time, even if you use 100. You know what I'm saying? So you might sand for hours, and it's going to take too long, and then you'll get frustrated, and you just don't want to do the job. You just say, well, woodworking is not for me. Well, let's make woodworking fun. And what I'm going to try to tell you is, when you sand a piece of wood, when it's really rough like this, you want to start something really coarse, and that would be maybe an 80 grit paper, okay? And then you would work your way down from an 80 down to a 100 or 120, then work your way on down to like a 220. You understand what I'm saying? So you would start with an 80, just say 80, a 100, and then down to a 220. Then you can go down to a 320. By doing that, you can actually get it done a lot quicker, okay? And you won't be so frustrated because it's not working for you. So just remember that when you're doing sanding. Now, if you got something really smooth like this, you could probably get away with putting maybe a 120 and a 220 on it, and it would be completely done. So watch the lumber. The rougher the lumber is like this, the more it's going to take for you to sand it, and you don't want to spend a lot of time. And you said, well, it's not worth it making this thing because it took me too long, and I didn't make enough off of when I sold it. Sanders are very important when you have woodworking. If you can, um, buy what you can afford. That's understanding. Once your business or your hobby or whatever gets a little bit bigger, buy more sanders. You need lots of them. I cannot find enough sanders. We're ready to go out and buy 2 more now. We want another 12-inch. And the reason why we would like to have 2 12-inch, I got one 12-inch now, is because when you take these, say I'm using an 80 on one, and then all of a sudden I get another piece of wood, just like I said, that it's not this rough or this smooth, this 80, it just chew this piece of wood up like it's nothing. So I have to take that piece of paper off of that sander. When I do, I have to throw it away because it's not going to stick back on there because it's got the adhesive on the back. That paper comes off. Okay. So by having 2 of these sanders, I can run one with an 80. So if I do rough wood or unfinished, really bad unfinished wood, and then, like I said, use another sander and then use the 180 and put the 180 on it. So I'm over here cutting, and I'm cutting down that piece of wood, and I'm getting it, shaped where I want it. Then I take it over to the other sander, and then that way I don't waste this paper because this paper can get really expensive, the big pieces like this. That's basically the same if you got a small palm sander. You know what I'm saying? These come on and off, so don't have the sticky surface on the back of it. So you can interchange these, so you don't need that, like, 3 or 4 of them if you can't afford them. But just look into it and see what you can afford. Now, I've looked on Facebook, and there's a lot of sanders on Facebook. You just got to go and take a look at them, and wheel and deal with the people and see how you can get them down on it, or whatever you want to pay for. Okay, now I hope that helps you guys out. Encourage you to keep doing your woodworking or your crafts, and that's it for today. So if you guys like the video, please subscribe to it. And if you don't mind, there's another video down here. Just take a look and see some of the woodworking projects that I do. So push the like up button. Really appreciate that. You guys have a great day, and thanks for watching.